Welcome to the Resilient Minds podcast, stories of grit, growth, and success, where we dive deep into the journey of successful leaders who've struggled and succeeded. Before the wins, before the titles, what was the mindset behind the leader? On this show, we focus on real stories behind the success, the struggles, the resilience, and the courage it takes to keep moving forward, even when times get tough. My goal is to provide you with stories of hope and transformation, showing that no matter the challenges, there is a way forward. On this show, we'll be meeting with highly successful leaders who've battled through obstacles, emerging stronger and wiser on the other side. This show is for anyone who wants to grow, evolve, and find the light at the end of the tunnel. Everyone's a leader, so together, we'll uncover what it truly means to evolve as leaders, and ultimately, as human beings. This is Resilient Minds. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Campbell, and today I have Jeremy Hamilton. He is the founder of Hamilton Growth, and he's actually a business coach for systems. And I know from personal experience, like I've had a business that's tanked. If I would have had the right systems in place, it saves so much stress and a lot of mental health issues actually from surfacing in the middle of business growth. So, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us about yourself.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation as well. So, I've been in growth marketing and sales for most of my career, so about 16 years. I've seen companies scale. I've been a head of growth and I had my first 10x experience going from $3 million to $35 million and similar experiences like that, companies that would just scale very quickly. But I've also worked with companies a lot that the same tactics just simply wouldn't apply. And it wasn't until I founded my own startup called Sensitive Strength, wanting to work with highly sensitive people, that I was my own angel, invested all my personal savings, had a team, pulled all the tricks out of the bag that I applied to companies and 10x them. But I found myself being one of the companies that just couldn't get it off the ground. And I was passionate and fired up about this, but it was also ironic that someone who scales companies couldn't grow his own company. And it was painful. It was very, very painful. And I couldn't figure it out. And so I had to give up on it because I was in this financial point where I'm like, I had to face my reality. Oh. And so after going through all that, I stumbled upon Alex Ramos's $100 million leads, $100 million offer, and going through his awesome programs. And it's such a high level program as well. The offers for free. It's crazy. Something clicked, like an inner puzzle was kind of laid out for me where I understood the concept of value. And when that clicked into place on how, if I don't talk about an active problem that keeps people up at night, I don't get people's attention, that when that clicked in, then the systems suddenly started to move everyone who was over here to being able to get traction and start to scale. And so the systems, yes, need to be in place, but then it's also about being able to be clear about problems and meeting people where they're at. So there's a lot more that goes into this, but blending these together, I coach and then I implement the systems so that traction becomes inevitable. Yeah.
Absolutely. But it seems like what you guys are tapping into is human psychology, right? Like we're emotional beings. Like business doesn't work because you put a cool ad out there and it's just going to bring you money. Like you actually have to understand the human in order for your systems to work better.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Sales and marketing seem like these foreign concepts and they're all mental concepts. But what if we put connection first? What if we actually look into what is a problem that keeps this person up at night? Actually know this and then say, oh, I can actually help you with this. That changes the conversation to being pushy, salesy, or marketing, but just a human wanting to help a human. It's a very different energy, different purpose, and it's more about service.
Right. And I'm a highly sensitive person too. So I feel all of the emotions pretty much all the time, right? And so to do something like sales, which to me, it was like a bad word before. Like I didn't like the idea. It sounded manipulative. I didn't want to try to make a sale.
And so it felt very, very inauthentic and icky, right? So learning the whole sales process, marketing, branding, positioning, all that, it just felt very bad. So I fought it until I learned enough to be able to figure out, well, what I really truly desire in my heart is to connect with people and have them be comfortable connecting with me. And I want to make an offer. If it solves a problem, then great. And if it doesn't, we can just be friends. Right. And then I learned there's a term called no pressure sales. And I'm like, those are my people. Right. But you can create systems around things like that where it doesn't put pressure and it puts authentic connection at the forefront. But what it sounds like you're saying is that actually works better than pressured sales.
Totally. It's also the kind of client you're welcoming in, especially if you're in a service industry, right? Like, do I want to pressure my clients into making a decision? And then what kind of energetics do I also bring into this collaboration? Like there's pressure, there's like that's gonna come back to me. Like a, a mentor once told me like how you start is how you finish. And I'd rather have like an open invitation to work together because there's clear value. And there's also something about being clear is being kind. It's like if there's an understanding about, oh, there's value here, I want this. If that's at some point the sales process, then it's a very different starting point. It's a very human connection. It also allows me to be messy, make mistakes, be okay, be human. You know, it sets the tone differently.
Absolutely. So how long was it between when you were, it sounded like you moved away from working for another company, you started your own thing and you were struggling, right? But how long were you struggling to where you found the book and then it clicked for you and things started revving back up?
Okay. So I have a very traumatic history. I've
Mm.
struggled for most of my life. Wanting something and being able to accomplish it, I was in my own way. A lot of shadows, a lot of obstacles, impatience, wanting things, not being connected to the small now, to reality, living in fantasy. It's also why my sense of strength, this business, for 3 years, I was living in the idea of what it could be, but I wasn't where it was actually. I wasn't meeting it for what it was. I had a freelance job on the side, and that brought in enough wealth to sponsor this expedition, if you will. But looking back at it, I was also living in a fantasy. I thought, oh, I'm making money and I'm growing this business, but actually it wasn't growing whatsoever. And
Mm.
so I cannot see my whole life separate from now being able to build six-figure businesses because I now understand value and how to launch offers and how to get them in front of enough people so attraction happens. A lot of the inner work actually allowed me to get the outer success. Um, be able to become the person that's able to achieve this. I had to become that person first. There was a lot of stuff in between.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that too, because I'm a proponent of, well, if you want something external, you have to change the internal because as within, so without, right? But a lot of people in business or, entrepreneurs, they don't think like that. And I think it would help them to adopt that concept because you can't live the life that you want in the future if you're not the future you yet. So you have to evolve you as you're evolving your business, but you're talking about a whole lot more specifically, like stop trying to work on the business and work on you, right? And then do that second, right? Like do the inner work first.
I came up with this slogan: when the founder evolves, the business follows.
Ooh, I like it.
And it's a holy grail for me. It's like, wait, if I want to accomplish something that isn't yet a reality, I have to shift myself first and make space, be able to have the inner capacity for that to become a reality. And it also means I have to change some outdated thoughtware or something, some program that's there that's currently in its way. And so if I that's why I like motivational is surface level, but doesn't necessarily change my inner structure as much. So I have to pretty go as deep as it needs to
Mhm.
to clear that out and then have the space. And then it starts to come and I become the person that's able to do this. Yeah. So
Absolutely. So you have to get to know your internal world and you have to confront your demons, right? But When you were talking about, I did the same thing as you in my last business. There's so many reasons, like there's so many different things that I did wrong, but one of them was my mindset was so optimistic that I was looking so far in the future. I wasn't actually present. I was just super highly motivated because I knew that the vision was possible. But I'm like, what you have to do is be able to have the vision, but try not to live in the vision because then you're either going too fast or you're not seeing the things that are presently needing your attention. And a lot of times we're actually not capable of being present to be able
Hmm.
to sit in our own skin the way we are right now with the business that we have right now. And that's what you're talking about is confronting that reality in order to meet the future vision, the future vision in your business and the future you.
There's so much wisdom in what you just said. It's so easy also to bypass the present moment, go like, oh, but it's all going to be okay because I was living in this future. But that bypassing actually meant that I was moving forward in the present moment, and so that future state future. Whereas where I show, if I had shown up, especially in this sensitive strength journey, with okay, so what's present now? What is like this vision there, here now,
Mhm.
and work with that. That's also part of the vision. So that's kind of like the reality of what is, the 3 second small now moment. Like, okay, what's really present right now that I can actually do to move forward or have to break through? Yeah,
Absolutely. So there's, and I'm sure you have your own tech. Do you meditate?
I do. Yes, I
I'm
do.
not surprised at all. Like the lingo, it's like our vocabulary is very similar. So
Okay.
the way that I found a balance with that, because I'm such a visionary and I think highly sensitive people, we just see everything because emotion equates awareness. Like it's just the detail-oriented part of our brain. But if you have this 5, 10, 20-year vision that's beautiful, we have an obligation to get present at the same time as holding that vision. So one thing that I've adopted is every Saturday morning I wake up and I do my meditations, there are visualizations, I do my affirmations, I go through my entire business plan. I make sure everything is strategically like milestones and time frames and everything, right? And I do this backward planning and then I look at and I'll actually when I put your and my contact information, I'll put the person who did the training. Her name is Gabby Mingstad, and she's a peak performance coach. But this is you programming your subconscious adaptive target. So you're still on the journey. And after I kind of do that visualization practice, then I schedule my following week based off of where I'm at now. And then I don't look at it for the rest of the week. I just focus on doing what I can, when and how I can, being very present, breath work every day, meditation every day. I go on hikes, I go on walks to decompress so I'm not so busy doing all the things. And then because I can be present, I have synchronicities constantly coming to redirect me, but they're redirecting me towards the adaptive target that I set. So I gave you my whole spiel. Like that's what I do to find the balance because the visions, they don't stop, right? The presence is necessary. But what is something that you regularly do to make sure that you can not squelch or suppress your creativity? Like you don't want to close it off, but you still need to be present and focus on your systems. What's something that you do?
Right now, at this moment, I tap into my bodies, my different bodies. So my emotional body, what am I really feeling right now? And I
Right.
feel sad, glad, angry, or scared. And what is the information in it? I pay very close attention to my shadow. Everybody has a shadow. For me, I want to be very familiar with the prince who rules the shadow, and he has typical behaviors. And you can call him ego, you can call him whatever you want. It's a protection mechanism. So I'm befriending him, but I also have blind spot, like how he shows up, and for me to procrastinate. When it's very clear, like personal shadow, like, all right, so there's something that I'm not taking responsibility for. What is it? And there's like to tap into this adult state, my adult ego state, not my child, not my parent, not my shadow,
Right.
to feel my feelings, especially for me as a man. It's been a journey to allow myself to feel sad, to feel angry, to feel in a way that supports me, empowers me, and helps me navigate the present moment. Um, there's a there's a I'm just going to do this, period. If I go left or right, up or down, there's a direction that I say yes to and I commit to it. And that means I will not stop until I am done. And I
Right.
will use my knowledge, my distinctions, all these things I've learned in all these various like traditions, ceremonies, experiences to get there. And if I don't get there, anything else is an excuse and or a reason. Like I don't want to judge it as an excuse, but it's just a reason that I can overcome, that I can move beyond. And there's just this deep knowing that this is simply my reality. That I put myself to something, that it will happen.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that I think is kind of the result of doing a lot of inner work, but it also means like it simply is a decision. And to keep coming back to it, it's like if I'm not deciding to act on achieving that, then I'm just postponing it, which is okay. Like I don't judge myself. I take a lot of free time when I don't feel like it. That's also okay. And still stay connected to that bigger vision.
Right.
Like for the life of me, I never thought I was going to be a dad. And then, but the deepest thing that I really want is to be a dad. And now we're planning our family, and it's kind of like this is the most beautiful thing. Like I had so much baggage, I'd say, that I didn't want to give on and or pass on to my kids, that I never wanted kids. Up to the point where I felt like, oh wait, I can make sure it doesn't, or well, I hope so. Who knows? But I'm at this point where, okay, I'm good. I don't need like I'm good. And I want kids now because I know that I have the tools, the awareness, of being able to prevent most of that going through to my kids.
Right. Absolutely. And so I love the way that it seems like you work just as much on yourself as you do your business, if not more.
Probably more.
That's what I say about myself too. I'm like, if there's a problem, I have to look at me. I have to stop looking at the business and check myself first, you know? And I think that a lot of us business owners or entrepreneurs, whenever we get that mindset, we do find that one presence, but two, the reality. Like I'm good where I'm at because we start to enjoy the journey. It's not about the destination anymore. The perspective changes.
How did you like know that, what was for you the moment where you just like, okay, well, I'm gonna first look at myself and how I am positioning myself towards whatever challenge I have before I start blaming or looking outside for pointing a finger.
That is a great question. It was at right after my clinic. I had a health and wellness clinic. The plan was to franchise it. And I was my own investor as well. I put everything, I sold my home, my retirement, my savings. I took a business loan out and even my paycheck for well over a year, just throwing money at the wall, hoping something would stick because I didn't have the systems, right? But I also didn't have the internal world organized either. Like I had been a trauma therapist for years, for well over a decade, and I had always helped people on getting internal balance. And that's great. However, I needed the mindset shift with when it came to money mindset. And I didn't have that. So I didn't know how to deal with more than just my own one income, right? Like I didn't know how to manage that budget. And I couldn't wear all the hats. And so was constantly frustrated, like, what am I doing wrong? And you don't know what you're doing wrong if you don't know. Like you have to go through the process sometimes to learn the hard way, right? So after I had left that experience, I found a lot of stillness and gratitude. And once I just focused on being present, being more authentic, stop trying to hustle, right? Because it was very much hustle culture, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was horrible. And I'm a single mom. So like that's ridiculous, but I'm trying to give my kids a better life. So I was making excuses. right? Instead, finding the stillness inside, then a lot of the business insights started coming in.
Yeah.
And then it kind of was a smack in the face. I'm like, oh, I was the problem the whole time. So it was right after that, which is a few years ago.
Sounds like you had some space for integration, and the stillness kind of like allowed all these insights to come through.
Absolutely.
At the time when I was going through a very similar scenario, or I didn't have traction, money was running for me, was running out, and I was like, why the hell? I felt called to do this, like, and it's such a noble call, all this. And then after this integration period, I went like, oh wow, there's so much like experience, so much wisdom that I've gained. And then sometimes when I speak to investors that have failed a few times, they're like, yeah, your first time is the toughest, but it's also the one where you learn the most from. And that will help you with, if you just stay the path, just keep going. And I considered wanting to do a job after this, like, all right, I'm going to take a break. I just still felt called. It's like, look, I just know a lot more now. Let's just figure something else out. Let's just keep going at it. And it's been the best decision. Just keep at it,
Right. Absolutely. Well, we were running out of time and I was going to ask you what is something that you would love to leave the audience with, but I'm thinking like that's exactly what it was. Like just stay the course because I had that same experience too. I was thinking about, well, going to get a job, but after all that experience, why would you sacrifice all the lessons that you've gotten if you just keep the course? You still learn, right? You still might even have, hard pivots, right? But
Mhm.
you're not going to fail if you don't quit, and we get more resilient and stronger along the way. I really appreciate your time. I wish that we had more.
Same.
Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining. Your time and your focus are your most valuable currencies, so thank you for giving that to us today. Our guest contact information will be in the description below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But please, if you know someone who's struggling, stop right now and send this video to them. The struggle behind growth and success is real, and they need the support to make it, because the strongest minds are the ones that healed. So don't forget, lead louder, feel deeper, and stay resilient. Until next time, this is your host, Dr. Campbell, on the Resilient Minds podcast.